Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're setting the stage for a really deep dive into the sometimes tricky world of figurative language. We're going to unpack some genuinely fascinating educational source material, ranging from 6th grade curricula to some incredibly innovative classroom resources. We want to see exactly how modern educators are taking abstract literary concepts and making them crystal clear for their students. So let's explore how we bring words to life.
Well, it starts with a massive challenge, right? How do you make abstract words visible? This is the fundamental hurdle educators face literally every single day when teaching literary concepts to young developing minds. I mean, think about it. Grammar and language mechanics are inherently invisible. You can't touch a concept. You definitely can't put a sentence structure in a beaker and examine it under a microscope. Yet we expect students to grasp these totally ethereal ideas and use them to build compelling narratives. The source materials we're looking at today tackle this exact challenge head-on, proving that the real secret lies in creating mental and physical visuals. All right, let's jump into Section 1, Ordinary versus Literary Language.
Okay, let's dive into this side-by-side comparison. Ordinary language is, your utilitarian communication. It just states plain facts, it gets the job done, sure, but frankly, it can be kind of boring. It's like saying, it is hot outside. Literary language, however, is where the magic actually happens. It relies on vivid imagery and figurative expressions to not just tell you a fact, but to make you feel it. The source documents really emphasize teaching students this specific transition, upgrading their writing from simply taking up space on a page to actively painting a picture in the reader's mind.
Moving right along to Section 2, Defining the Simile. It's honestly fascinating how precise the 6th grade source material is here. A simile is a figure of speech comparing two different things, but the absolute most important parts are those structural clues, the words like or as. Think of it as a linguistic safety net. By using like or as, the writer is basically gently tapping the reader on the shoulder and saying, hey, I'm about to make a comparison here, so follow along. It explicitly builds a bridge between the known and the unknown.
To ground that abstract definition a bit, let's look at some classic examples pulled directly from the Mastery Mats resources we found in our source data. Phrases like, as cold as ice, brave as a lion, busy as a bee, and like a roaring fire. We all know these, right? They are deeply embedded in our everyday language. And that's exactly why educators start here. By showing students phrases they already instinctively understand, teachers can just reverse engineer the grammar. The student realizes, oh, I already use similes. I just didn't know the technical term for the whole shebang. It really takes the intimidation factor right out of the lesson. Which brings us to Section 3, Mastering the Metaphor.
Now, if a simile uses a safety net, a metaphor jumps without one. A metaphor is a figure of speech that makes a direct comparison between two unrelated things by stating one thing literally is another. It boldly drops the like or as entirely, so it's a much more direct, powerful equation. You aren't saying something just shares a characteristic with something else. You are declaring that, for the sake of your literary imagery, it has become that other thing. It requires a bit more cognitive heavy lifting from the reader for sure, but the emotional payoff is significantly higher.
Take this specific, absolutely perfect example from the curriculum materials. He is a shining star. We aren't saying he is like a shining star. I mean, maybe he's just really good at math, or maybe he just wears a lot of glitter. No, by saying he is a shining star, the metaphor creates an immediate, striking, and undeniable visual in the reader's mind. It commands the reader's imagination to instantly superimpose the brilliance, the standout nature, and the guiding light of a star directly onto the subject. It's forceful, and man, it's memorable. Recognizing how these two operate differently is crucial. The simile uses like or as, busy as a bee. The metaphor relies on that direct equation. He is a shining star. By comparing them side by side like this, the mechanics of figurative language become totally transparent. You can easily see how you might shift a sentence from a simile to a metaphor just by tweaking that central pivot point of the comparison.
Let's move on to Section 4, the power of visuals. So, if we pull back the curtain and look at the data from the educational marketplace, specifically the Teachers Pay Teachers source materials, we see a massive emphasis on why visuals matter. And hey, this isn't just about making worksheets look pretty. There are deep cognitive benefits at play here. Pairing abstract concepts with visual cues connects right brain visual processing with left brain linguistic structure. Furthermore, the sources explicitly highlight that visuals provide essential accommodations for English language learners, helping them bridge vocabulary gaps. They also offer critical support for neurodivergent learners by providing clear, predictable expectations and alternate pathways to comprehension.
And this brilliantly illustrates the whole philosophy summarized in one great quote from the source material, combining the right brain benefits of visuals plus the left brain advantages of structure. It's a truly holistic approach. By engaging both hemispheres, educators aren't just helping students memorize a definition for a Friday quiz. They're actually wiring the brain for deep comprehension and long-term memory recall. Basically, they are making the invisible visible.
Finally, Section 5, Modern Classroom Tools. We have moved so far past the days of dry textbook memorization and copying sentences from a chalkboard. Today's educators are utilizing things like doodle notes, where students actually draw their understanding. They're using interactive notebooks and digital flipbooks for hands-on, tech-integrated learning. They employ task cards with specific visual cues, colorful mastery mats, and massive, engaging anchor charts. These tools are meticulously designed to interrupt that standard lecture format and basically force active visual participation from the student.
Ultimately, the core goal of all these methodologies is simple: turning tricky literary skills into something students actually enjoy. By transforming what could be a mundane grammar lesson into a dynamic, engaging, and highly visual experience, teachers are entirely removing the friction from learning. They are empowering students to play with language, to experiment with imagery, and to really discover the joy of crafting a perfectly balanced metaphor. Which brings us to the end of our explainer today, and a question I want to leave you with. We've seen how educators teach this, but this applies to all of us. Every single time we write an email, give a presentation, or just tell a story to a friend. Are your words painting a picture, or are they just taking up space? The next time you communicate, I challenge you to utilize the visual language techniques we explored today. Drop a clever simile, or fully commit to a powerful metaphor. Make your invisible thoughts visible. Keep learning, keep growing, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.